Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning. Good morning. You know, I will never get nobody name up. They was like, is that a wig? What was that? I said, I don't know. I don't do hair. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna say the other women that was in there. Some that the men, they was laughing at the gym with me this morning and said, we know you gonna put them hairstyles. I said, I am. So I know, because we got 130. I said, I am. I'm going to put it up there. Now, one downvote is Liddell or Candace. I'm not messing with it.
Rocket.
But look who they said that was Crockett. You got Stephen A. Smith attacking her now. Jasmine Crockett.
Been attacking our whole national show. It ain't nothing new with him. He's the fastest race. He all that. He let you know who he is. He ain't holding them up.
But he black.
Stephen Miller ain't.
No, Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, man.
I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith. You ain't see how they said to me. Y'all wrong. Y'all wrong. I mean, listen. Hey. Some laugh with you, some laugh at you. They laughed at me plenty of times. I laughing too, shit. But, hey, it is what it is. But, boy, we was rolling. They was like, you gonna put them pictures up? I said, I am. She the one brought up content. She said, they trying to use stuff for content. I said, well, she gave it to me. This what I wanted to say. I was watching one guy. I was looking for his video. And he was talking about, like in Chicago, when they raided the hotel. And I get both sides, not the hotel, the apartment complex. But, and as he was breaking it down, and it was like what they doing is, what they not telling people is, and it's bad on both sides, but these was the ones that the Democrats had when they took them to Martha's Vineyard and everything.
Yeah.
What's up?
I just can't fathom that, right? Like, I'm still stuck on, you touch my kids, I'm touching you. It's that serious. And the fact that he's just letting this man skate by, but a dude who does something peaceful, that rallies the community to do something peaceful, right? How often do we see people today get groups of people together, rile them up, and go set them loose? Jed gathered a group of people, got them focused, and did something productive, and he's the fucking monster? This is some bull.
What's up, family? Give me 1 second. I'm trying to concrete. Thank you for everybody tapping in. Thank you. Give me 1 second. I got a guest with me today. Just trying to share the show out. I was here. I was on time, but I was a little lady waiting. But I'm finna get this. I'm finna get the show out to everybody. Just give me 1 second. And my special guest, y'all know I had to bring him back for a second edition. The good brother Roberts, the chairman of BLM Flint.
You know it.
What it do, good brother? What it do? What it do?
House.
Oh, nothing finna. I'm sharing it out right now. If I can get it to everybody, I need to get it to.
Okay.
How you beautiful people doing? Georgia boy, top of the morning to you. The way of Jesus Christ Church through faith. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, yo, I was on time. The lovely Deborah Luna in the building. How you doing? And shout out to my Gaddis clan, Allie Nicole, Gaddis Rivers. Good morning. Just work with me, family. I gotta share it to a couple more people. Let me get it here. Let me get it here. As y'all can see. Oh, well, Brother Roberts, you can go ahead while I'm trying to share it out.
Oh, well, good morning, our community. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may get an opportunity to embrace this amazing conversation. Again, we always want to start off by, being excited about our human existence on this planet. I'm hoping you guys have hugged someone, smiled at one, and told someone that you love them. Also, anybody that you may have gone afoul with or have some beef with, working to ask for reconciliation, apologizing, and how we can move forward as a collective community is so vital, as far as how we're going to engage in this few seconds that we have on this planet. Because when you think about the time and the time that most human beings are alive, the time can be very short. Even though if you live 100 years, that is a short space of time in the construct of understanding what time really means. I definitely want to give a shout out to Mr. Mickey for continuing to work with A10 and this platform. Because when you think about what we're dealing with tyranny, there's nothing new that's taking place to dispel, destroy, or criticize any opposition to madness. You can look in the annals of history, and that's why I really fall back on history as far as a foundation of understanding today and how we can collectively move forward into the future, because nothing is new as far as destroying other human beings, culminating in I want all of the power or I want all of the fish, and I'm not going to share any of my power nor fish with you unless you are going to bring equal power. Then we can have a conversation. If you can't bring equal power, then I'm going to do all I can to exploit, to destroy, and to erase you. And this is where we are today. And it's pitiful because we are behaving in a manner is almost like a fish out of water, or like they say, crabs in a barrel. Even that construct is insane because crabs are never in a barrel. And so when you think about even that myth, or they say that analogy about us disrespecting or destroying one another to get to the top, or like Gordon Gekko say, greed is good. And so when you're dealing with especially mental illness and serious sickness, which is what we are dealing with today across the landscape of the world, and collectively in the region that we find ourselves in, is not by accident. So I definitely want to say good morning to Mickey and all of the everyone in the community around the country and around the world that support this platform as far as having free thought, free speech, making sure the truth is getting out, because we all can have an opinion. Facts, up is up, down is down, right is right, left is left. These are facts. A lot of times we don't want to deal in facts because, again, we get a chance to play the stupid games. But once you deal in truth with facts, you don't have to apologize. And I think that's the sad part that we as a people collectively have lost sight of. And so that's why we have to be critical and accountable to one another. And I may not like some of your tendencies, but I respect you as a human being. I may not like your politics, especially when your politics goes against my humanity, but you have a right to be evil. You have a right to be disgusting. But we collectively have a right to not tolerate it. And that's our position that we should be taking, especially as Black and brown people in this diaspora and around the world. Because, again, one thing that is true, when the Black man truly wakes up, the game is over. Now, Mickey had mentioned earlier about something that we're going to get into. But I want to first give a shout out this Saturday from 1 to 3 at our building, 2712 North Saginaw Street. We're going to have a community conversation. We had it last month. About 50 people attended. We're hoping that more people will come out. This is a time where our community don't get 3 minutes like down at City Council. This is not something that Black Lives Matter is trying to direct or manipulate. This is for the community to come out and have a voice where we can get 2 or 3 specific things that we could work on together, everyone. Meaning we got elections coming up in 2026 that we need to be working and finding real candidates that's going to be committed to the residents, the community, the health, and repairing this community called Flint. If we are not going to be vetting people that's going to be engaging in moving Flint to the next level in the 21st century, that we can become a model community for the world, that should be one of our goals collectively. So we're calling for our community to come out, have a community conversation, and let's get some work done. Let's stop throwing shade at one another. Hate it. You're not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not tall enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not light enough. We need to get out of that. This morning at 7 o'clock, I with other individuals involved there. Community impact is the arm that we use where we greet students at 6 area schools the first Monday of every month. So that's the first, second, third, and fourth Monday of every month. This team of collective individuals get up at 6, 5, or 6 in the morning to make sure they show up at these different schools to greet these young children. Why do we do this? Our children cannot be what they don't see. When we are engaging in children, I say, good morning, Madam Secretary. Good morning, anesthesiologist. Good morning, doctor, lawyer. Good morning, committee man, congresswoman, congressman. Good morning, senator. Good morning, teacher. See, what we're trying to say to these children is we're working to lift them up and speak truth to them, because that's the foundation of our culture from rites of passage. A child's name, a child's purpose have to be granted to them and line up with the talent that God has given them. But we as human and adults have to actualize that. We have to do our part, because many times our children are never told, I love you, I care about you. You are important. I value you. A lot of times our children get out my face. You look like your mother. You look like your father. I can't stand you. All these kind of things is what our children are bombarded with on a daily basis. They don't get lifted up. They don't get shouted out. The only time we shout out is our children when they acting up. But how do we engage them on the forehand? Many of our children are dealing with mental illness because of the water, because of poverty, because of lack of resources in our community. So you wonder why our children are behaving and not actualizing their true potential. When you think about 15% of our children are reading proficiency, 9% are engaging in math proficiency. Why is that? You got 3 generations of our family members that jettison or just got involved in dopes and all this other kind of stuff and got locked up in all these other things intentionally in our community. These things were brought into our community intentionally to destroy our community. And you're dealing with 3 and 4 generations of our children being destroyed. And you wondering why they behaving the way they are? Because many of us that's listening and older people didn't do their job, gave up, jettisoned, thinking somebody else is going to fix the problem. But I don't want to do nothing. I raised my children. I ain't got time for these children, but you was a child. You going to say that I don't have time for a child, but you was a child. And I don't care who you are. As long as you're alive, you never retire. Yeah, you can retire from one career to another career, but our commitment should be daily, 24/7 about our community, because that's connected to our ancestors.
But the thing is, how do we build it back up? Because like you just said, and I see at least you showing the starting point, what y'all doing, like we going to the school, because kids do need to hear this, being uplifted. Because a lot of people, they might don't want to admit, but when them kids go home, somehow, like I was told, every household is different. But we also don't know the pressures that comes with them households. Like they not telling you how drugs got here.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of this stuff been self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you putting this on the community, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you get people like, I don't try to fault the ones who sold drugs, because some did it because it was a source of income.
Right.
Like, some of these, like, let's be honest, we see some of these parents now let their kids hustle.
Right.
Because it's about bringing that extra income into the household.
Right.
And then we not being honest that, far as welfare, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying people who own it didn't need it, but it was never a clear cut because, like you just said, generations. How many generations that we had that was on welfare? Like, I get some of the stuff they saying, like, you be on it then in 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
It was never meant for you to stay on it. But they never had nothing set up to help the people once we took it from you.
Exactly. And
You
so
know?
when you mentioned that way, again, have you ever thought about what our community would like if drugs were never in our community? At one time, do you know marijuana was legal in the 30s?
No, I always thought it was illegal.
Marijuana was legal in the 30s. Marijuana was legal. Hear me correctly. Marijuana was legal in the 30s. I'm only bringing that up because have we ever thought about our community if drugs was not intentionally put into our community? Number one. Number two, when you think about all of the elements to destroy, once they exploited us and now we got the pseudo rights. The whole construct was to destroy and debase any collective power that black people could generate. So it was an effort to put dope, alcohol, and all these different poisons and devices into the black and brown community intentionally to destroy us. So those things was done intentionally, but it was our fault to get engaged in it. Just because a kilo can sit on this desk that I'm sitting in front of right now and an AR-15, it could sit there for 1,000 years. If my mentality is connected to the universe, I wouldn't touch the dope. I wouldn't have no need for the gun to protect the dope enterprise because I'm on another level about life and community and building up all our energy and our innovations and all of the things that go with a civilized community.
Right.
It's about living. But when you are dealing with evil, when you are dealing with exploitation, when you are dealing with greed, that's the motto of capitalism. So we can be clear. Our community have been destroyed intentionally. Now, your question is, when you think about the families and what the families are dealing with, we have gotten away from the communal family. See, we have gotten away with me coming over to your house and eating at your house, Mickey. We have gotten to your mother chastising me for acting a fool. That was the community, Mickey, because we were forced, again, we did not integrate their community. They integrated our community to destroy our foundation, which was our businesses, to exploit us. And so we constantly want to emulate the power. So if the power is white or white construct, I'm going to do anything I can to be associated with that power, no matter if I sell myself. If you go back to Denmark Vassar, if you go back to I'm butchering his name, Amasilla Jones or Richard Hall. These guys sat down in 1736 thinking that they could engage being Christians at a church. And they made them individuals get up so white people can sit down and kneel and pray. They went down the street. Mr. Richard Allen owned his own business, and he opened up the first African-American church in this country because he was denied the opportunity to sit and pray with white people. I'm bringing that up because religion has poisoned and tricked us, because there is a difference between an understanding of the universal order of thou shalt not kill, thou shalt protect and love and honor, so that individual can be the best magnification of God incarnated. And then there's the aspect of whiteness or white supremacy, saying that I'm going to use religion in my way to make sure that I'm exploiting, excluding, and making sure I'm brainwashing young and old, like Hitler did, like Charlie Kirk. All these things are connected. So when you have a Charlie Kirk and a Turning Point USA, before that, Hitler back in the 30s, 32 and 33, 19, again, go back to history. They formed Aryan groups in Germany like they're wanting to do right now around high school campuses and college campuses to brainwash this insanity. I'm trying to connect the point that you asked me about why our conditioning in our community, when you say our children are going home to tragedy. Again, we've always had to deal with tragedy being brought over here, and we did not immigrate over here. But because of our exploitation during enslavement and being brainwashed, we have been brainwashed so severely that we identify outside of who we are connected to God. We constantly use bleaching cream and everything that you can imagine because we want to be associated with white power. We go against one another. Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas been on the bench, and he on the bench, he followed Thurgood Marshall. And he has never supported or backed any of his writings, any of his rulings, never have supported anything to deal with blacks or black people in this country, if you're afraid to be called black, or Negroes in this country, to be allowed to exercise the humanity that's given to them from God. Never. So when you think of earlier, you said, why no kings? And some people came to us from Davidson and Fenton and all these other communities about a month ago.
Hold on, I got something too.
And they asked us, Black Lives Matter grassroots Flint. Again, there's Black Lives Matter and there's Black Lives Grassroots. There's two different entities now because Black Lives Matter was destroyed and corrupt by some people that look like me and Mick, was on the agenda of Europeans. And right now, Black Lives Matter Grassroots is in a lawsuit to get the money back that these individuals have taken. So I just want to make there's a distinction. And like with the Panthers, the Deacon of Defense, Marcus Garvey, the list go, Liberia, the history go back all the way back. They've always infiltrated anything that black and brown people were engaged in. If you go back to the Bacon's Rebellion, back in the Bacon's Rebellion in 1663, 62, it was instituted because Native Americans, First Nation people, white indentured servants.
Bro, Robert, hold that thought one second, because I'm gonna play that video about the No King. I got it from here in Flint.
Yes, sir.
I got it from here in Flint. Let me play that. I got. This is Linden Road by Genesee Valley, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see. Let me get my roll call too. It says this from Felicia Martinez. Mickey roll call is sponsored by Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson for calling for a general strike against Trump, the ultra-right, and the greedy corporation. This country doesn't run without a shutdown. Without us shut down. Without us shut it down. Okay, but you see this right here, Brother Roberts. You see all them people. Was you there?
I was there, live and in color.
Well, see, all of this, but you can't get nobody to show up for
greeting the students.
Yeah, not even, yeah, plus that. But you can't get people to show up for, thank you everybody that's tapping in this morning. This good brother Roberts, this my guy right here. I look at him as family. He's the chairman of Black Lives Matter Flint. I don't agree with everything that he's doing, but I gotta give a shout out now. You know what I'm saying? I always tell him he coming on. But I'm just saying, how can we get these people to show up for that? But we can't even get 20 people down in city council.
Yes, sir. It's intentional. And I was just telling you, Mick, we were on the ground as far as fundamentally for a couple of months working with different groups that we never knew existed, just like there's over 50 There's over 50 hate groups in the United States that you and many of us don't realize.
Facts.
But to make my point, yeah, we been working with these individuals. They asked us to do a few things. We did security. We also brought a table and passed out information. I was on a bullhorn and I was saying, don't be afraid. I am a black man. Free hugs today. This is what community looks like. You guys waited to this situation happen because you guys created this. This is really your fault. But we as black people are a part of this country and we're going to be out here engaging in a responsible way. So our process and our focus was to be a presence out there because we were part of the initial building and doing the recon and working with these other different groups that's been doing some things in their local communities because many of them voted for Trump. Many of them
pause. Hold
Yes,
up.
sir.
You said
Okay.
these people that was there voted for Trump.
A lot of them, yes, sir.
Wow, keep going.
They're very honest.
Okay, that's
Because
I can
again, a
respect
lot
that.
of time people, yes, sir, and that's why in our dialogue, because we've had several dialogues for a couple of months, and we had to get down to the truth. And a lot of the truth was based on blind racism. Because many of them felt that because of some kind of entitlement from affirmative action, DEA, or misinformation or COINTELPRO, DEI, misinformation has been spewed in this country for 500 years. So it's always been me against you. And so when they finally realized that it was them against corporations or them being miscued about this intentionally black hatred, and once they find now it's coming into their community, now there's a different conversation. So once we can talk honestly about all of our trauma, all of our misinformation, and sometimes willingly and intentionally, then we can get to doing the work. Now, a lot of times, these acts of resistance right now, they have said Antifa, Black Lives Matter, or any opposition to white supremacy or conservatism is an act of treason. Now, this is the position of the administration right now. It's a 100 from the Pentagon to ICE to the FBI, all of these so-called agencies that's supposed to have been designed to protect the American citizens are being used against certain selective American citizens. And so when you have this crossfire of misinformation, of hypersensitivity, because again, how do you have a No Kings rally and you have Negroes still playing football? Like this, she said earlier, Mickey, you know how long since you met me, and I don't have to influence you. How long have I been saying boycott everything? Just tell them.
Since 2021.
I think that long, or since Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, that was 20. Yeah, that's when I met you in 2021.
So again, this is nothing new.
Yeah.
I get frustrated, like even yesterday.
Right.
How do you engage in any act of disobedience when many of us are going to invest and go to the same gas station, the same store, watch the same videos, or go on X? Why is anybody on X?
Because they're not really paying attention, brother.
We supposed to be on fan base.
But look, brother Rob, this you got to understand on this aspect. Didn't the NFL, didn't they say they didn't get in politics?
That was a lie.
Doing Colin Kaepernick.
Yes.
But it was different. But see, this what we've been saying. This ain't, that's why I thought, you know how they can see they did in the No King. I'm with you, B. Marie. You do a No King protest with Trump here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why ain't nobody looking at the mayor office?
Or why ain't nobody looking at our people being lynched every day? Like in Houston, 6 bodies was found in the waterway. The boy in Mississippi, young man in Ohio being lynched again, or the church being burned. Again, when you understand power, Mick, we got to stop playing and dealing with these people with power. See, Dylan Roos.
What is fan base? Because I see shooting. What's that?
Fan base is a social media platform like X.
Okay.
And it's developed by Isaac Hayes' son.
Oh yeah, right.
That's what we should be on.
I've been seeing
because
that.
if you on X, it's a mockery. When they changed it to X, that was a mockery against Malcolm X. And see, we continue to be poisoned because we playing 3-guard Molly, and we allowing ourselves, just like you said some time ago, a lot like with our sanctuary, we are engaging in behavior that is really foreign to our sensibility. But because of poverty, because of jealousy, and because of envy, because we have been taught to be jealous of one another, Mickey. Let me make this point, black and brown people. We want to be jealous and envy of a Mayor Neely or a city council that is foolishly engaging in behavior that is unacceptable. But what do? When you see Neely out,
oh, they smile at him. I see him.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, I see
How
him
do
out.
somebody sit in a church next to somebody or a city council member that is destroying your community? That wouldn't happen back in the 60s. That wouldn't happen with the Panthers, the Deacon of Defense. You're not going to engage with Mega Evers or with Fannie Lou Hamer and you destroying our community. A lot of times back in the day, many people that look like me and you came up missing because you was on that foolish tip as far as destroying our community. And I'm an advocate of that. If you are engaged if you are engaged in things that's destroying and killing our community, you are a parasite. How Diddy or Sean Combs is locked up?
You know why?
And these other people that's in power right now are not dead or locked up.
You know why? There ain't no rocket scientist.
How do you gonna retry Bill Cosby when the case was closed and this Republican was running for office and they reopened a case that was closed?
Because it's easy.
R. Kelly.
But it's easy, Brother Roberts. What did you just say earlier? You just, well, plenty of times, not earlier, when they don't see you as a human.
Yes, sir.
You got to remember, you was 3/5 of a man at one time.
Till today. No.
Right.
No,
3/5. I'll give you another example. When you say people they don't show each other love. You got right now, what's that girl, Joy something, Brianna Joy. They got mad because you hipped, and don't get me wrong. I used to like Mark Lamont Hill, but to me, he part of the Boulay system. So you see, he on the Joe Budden podcast, right?
Unacceptable.
Why would she get mad because he on that brother podcast? Why would you try to shoot his podcast down? But see, this, like you just said, blacks hating on blacks.
That's it.
Why? What was it a big thing? Oh, they wasn't intellectual enough. Why was you even worrying about? But see, that's what we do.
That's what
we'll
we
go
do.
dog our own out because he not on CNN. They ain't bring him back and want him on there because he not on MSNBC. See, we get caught up on and this thing, who can pay you? That's why I say a lot of people don't. Do you think? What's her name? The guy, Joy Reid. Do you think Joy Reid really needed MSNBC?
No, she didn't. Do you know she graduated top of her class from Harvard?
That's what you think she couldn't go?
Bull, man.
She couldn't go on YouTube and start her own, even with Roland Martin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do you think they really needed them? But what it is, they used to the comfortability.
Comfortability.
I come and I do my work. So if a person paying you, they're gonna say what you want them to say. Look at Stephen A. I watched something on him. He called himself, when LeBron checked him. And you know what he gonna say? Oh, well, LeBron won't say this to the white man. Neither will you.
Thank you.
He cowers down, but you had these people who on these shows, they never called them out on that because they part of that old good boy system, the good old boy system.
And again, when you think about it, as you said earlier about no king. So no kings going on.
Mm-hmm.
But yesterday, they fired live ammunition over the highway in California. You know that, right?
Didn't know that.
Oh, yes. They had a military 250-year celebration out there in Pendleton. You don't know about Pendleton Beach out there in California?
Break it down to me.
Oh, yeah. So the idiot, the defense secretary, who is in a position that he definitely should not be in. So on Saturday, to counter the No Kings rally, they had a whole military ceremony for celebrating the 250 years of the military, the Marines, which is a terrorist group, and they have terrorized the world legally. And so they fired live. They had to shut down.
Not those of 18. Go ahead, brother.
They had to shut down Highway 5 in California because Kevin Newsom, who is the governor of the state, have no control over the military under President Trump-elect.
Okay.
Hate to say his name. And they shot live ammunition over. Now, you didn't hear about that. Why you didn't hear about that from the A10 crew or from anybody? Why ain't nobody said nothing about that, man?
Hold up, I know you ain't just trying to take a shot at 18. Why we ain't hear from the Black Lives Matter crew while y'all was out there dancing with the rich people? Okay.
Facts.
Right.
So again, I'm making a point that,
and me too.
how are we gonna be engaging in this 3-car Molly, man?
Right.
So no kings, but they shooting live ammunition, shut down disrupted a whole flow of traffic.
But this is the stuff that people be saying. But I'm just saying, but look at our leaders. If you like this no king thing, I didn't understand it. And I agree with you saying. You said all them things out there. Because there's some videos to show you that even the people at the no king protest was not even agreeing what was going on.
Exactly.
It was people, they was down there getting into it.
Well, again, when you think about getting into humanity, and that's where we go back to this, Mick. And I said,
oh my God, did you see this?
Mm-mm.
It says, this is what we doing. That's a good brother. He out in Oklahoma, but he from there. He said he hit a car on the freeway, allegedly.
See, my point is, and when something go up, it got to come down, right?
Yep.
So that's nothing new. The point I'm making is this, man, is you got from September the 15th to September the 20th, they found 6 bodies. Where? September in Houston in the waterway.
Oh,
6 black bodies.
Yeah. Wow.
When you talk about the lynching of black and brown people around this country today and the burning of churches, why aren't we collectively, as opposed to being on any social media, we don't supposed to be on social media because we should be engaging our community by repairing our community, by taking back businesses in our community.
Facts.
When you talk about power, I must stress, Mickey, the no king, even though a distraction and what it is, it's a byproduct of people that have been privileged for 500 years, realizing that their community is connected to every community in this community. How can you say, Mickey, you engage in this world and you breathe in some other air?
Right.
Don't we all breathe the same air, Mickey?
They didn't believe that.
They didn't believe that,
Mickey.
Look
at the water.
Look at the water. So my point is, when I can say you are the other, or I can live in a gated community, or I can buy a Maybach or ride in a Maybach, and I don't have a car to ride in, I can turn my nose up at you because you ride in the bus. But when I can destroy your community because I cut off taxes to your community for my community to have all the resources like in Northville or Bloomfield Hill or Grosse Pointe, and then I can point my fingers at Flint and say those people don't deserve none because you ripping off and you didn't rape me. You have raped my community. General Motors raped this community. General Motors is supposed to have a footprint in this community. Ridgeway White and them supposed to have been doing more in this community. It hasn't been demanded of them because we got cowards from the theology when you're dealing with these fake preachers from the community. Concerned pastors are full of it. Because when you think about it, how are you going to be talking about white Jesus and you supposed to be turning the other cheek and they whipping you and they lynching you? How you supposed to do that, Dr. King? Malcolm was right. How you going to say, forgive them for they know not what they do, and they killing you, Mick? You a fool.
I mean, but you have
we are a fool, man.
Yeah, but you have to understand, though, Brother Roberts. I get what you're saying, but you have the people wasn't ready. How you gonna wake a people up who not ready? You got some who think they not. Didn't Harriet Tubman said she could have freed more if only they knew they were slaves?
That's the bottom line. That is what we're dealing with today.
Yeah. So you not. So basically, what's so messed up? What's so messed up is that how we wake our people up, but when it's easy to see our people can be bought and paid for, how you gonna expect the youth to respect and listen to us because we the older ones now? When they see we into it, when they see how we don't know how to dialogue and be right with each other, but we're gonna tell them how to handle their beefs.
That's right. And again, our children are mimicking our behavior.
Right.
And you hit it on the point. This is what they're mimicking. They're mimicking insanity. So again, you got a whole country black and white. I don't care. Everybody, 350 people on this continent need therapy, need extensive therapy because all of us have been brainwashed. All of us have been damaged. And as I always say, there are 615 billionaires, white billionaires in America more than any other country on the planet. And we have over 2 million people unhoused. Listen to me. We only have 5 black or so-called Negroes that are billionaires in America. Why is that? When you think about the concentration of wealth historically, that's why we got to go back historically. When you look what happened with the Romans, the Carthaginians, the Sumerians, the Hittites, when you look at Greece, when you look at these empires, they imploded inside of themselves. They were never conquered. This is a big issue, guys, because again, even in ancient Egypt or ancient Kemet, why they fell from grace and got against on the wrong side of God in the universe, because they were never supposed to be trying to entune themselves and take all this garbage with them for the afterlife. That was against God. That was against the universal order. That's how they fell from grace, because they started thinking that they were gods, that they were supposed to be worshipped. And this is what's happening today.
Facts. And I was going to say that you see what's going on now. It's like, why you think a lot of the problems, and I remember, I got to give a shout out to a half of Just a Thought, the DC girls, when they said, how can a poor person be sitting up here arguing for a rich person?
Well, the construct of a poor person arguing for a rich person goes back to the history in the early 1700s. When you think about 10,000 years ago, sugar was cultivated and discovered.
Right.
And so that brought in the sugar, or the construct of enslaving individuals around the world. And then you had the Christian Pope that gave credence to said these dark brown people are deserving to be exploited in the name of God. That happened. So when you have poor people, because they are associating their God or their power with someone that doesn't look like them, they want to be emulated or connected to that power structure. They want to be looked at, and they want to worship the power, or they're identified with that power. If it's a priest, if it's a monk, if it's an imam, whatever that may be, when you look at religion, all religion have become a dogma, or it has been used to manipulate and to exploit their community. Because at one time, only the priests, you could not go behind and know what the priest and them was engaged in doing, because they brought the information to you, right? So it was a secret order, right? God don't operate in no secret order. Like you say, the boule and all. God, or the universe, let me just say the universe, because I don't want to mess up. The universe does not operate like this theology does on earth. All this was man-made. So when you look at, when you embrace the ecosystem, everything in the ecosystem work together, man.
It's supposed to.
And why the ecosystem get corrupt or get damaged is because there was no need for nuclear weapons. No. There was no need for that. There were no needs for the level of radiation that we have today destroying the planet. There was no need to poison water, because when you have a reactor, when you have a nuclear plant, you got to have cooling water to cool down the reactor rise, man. And that's why when you think about on the micro level dealing with your question is, why do poor people assimilate to want to be connected to power? Because it's the natural order of things. When you feel that you are a have-not, and you are been born and bred into a construct that is an illusion, this is the illusion. Before the illusion was created, everyone had equal rights, equal access to power, meaning the community was communal. There was not no one person running everything because the one person was connected. I go back to her name, Queen Heshevus. When you go back to her, she was male and female and ran a country for 40 years, had no wars, created all kind of industries. Everything was peaceful for 40 years of this queen. And she was a pharaoh. So what I'm bringing her up because she unified the community, everybody working together. It was no big I's and big U's. And this is what the construct was supposed to be when you go early in our early history of mankind. It was communally, we was working together. This new construct about king and leader and all this construct is a new construct based on greed and exploitation. Because I don't care how many billions of dollars you have, you cannot take it with you when you die.
Facts.
That's why those many times those cartouche, sarcophagus, and all these things, King Tut and Tutankhamun and all Akhenaten and all them. That's why they got away from the universal order that they was connected with for thousands of years. No wars, no famine, no drama going on. Everybody loving and sharing. Look, they sharing resources, they sharing food, they sharing music, they sharing women, and everybody's having a good time.
But you got to that 6,000 year period, and it was somebody coming on the planet that was going to change.
Yes, sir.
Because this wasn't no. I don't want people to think like this has been going on. This is a 6,000 year history that we dealing with. Fires on the going down.
Facts. That's facts.
Now, going down. This ain't nothing but 6,000 year history. That's like when a lot of people, the Bible go back 50. No, only the Bible only giving you a 6,000 year history.
Thank you. Facts.
That's all it's giving. But see, we get off into the back and forth. Who history is it giving?
Right.
You know, this is where the problem come in at.
And see, that should never be a point, because the point should be humanity, right? It shouldn't be individual about collective about who, right? The who is all of us.
Yeah.
See, that's another thing is they trick us. So you saying the Chaldeans? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the Syrians? You say the who, when you talk about the who should be collectively the humanity. What does humanity look like, right? How do I give you life? How do I give you assistance, Mickey? How do I give my neighbor in Ohio, California assistance?
Well, I got a question for you.
Okay,
right
sir.
Here. See, this from Alan Light.
All right, Light.
I'm thinking Light. Alan, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong. He said, our wealth is pulled out of our community by foreigners. This country has given foreigners the green light to exploit our community. So
facts. But that was our fault. Just because they gave them a green light, did we have to go through the light?
But see, that's the thing.
Who invented the traffic light?
We invented so much stuff.
Garrett Morgan.
Yeah,
Garrett Morgan invented the traffic light that's all around the world. So when he mentioned about the green light, just because, and again, it goes back to our mentality. When you have been brainwashed for 500 years to hurt, to lie, to kill the person that looked just like you, Mick, that's why we're in the mess we're in today, because we did not, just because they integrated our community, we didn't have to buy to it. We didn't have to bow down to it.
But we did.
We didn't have to accept it.
But we did.
But like you said, didn't you tell me something about the Big Six?
Yeah.
So the Big Six gave us a big, I don't want to be vulgar, but
don't.
Okay.
You want me to play that video for you again?
Yes, sir.
I played it last night.
Yes, sir.
I had it on the show.
Tell the truth.
I had it.
Tell
on
the truth.
I had it on the show last night because I was finna play this video where it said Kamala Harris shouts, "I'm not the president." At Gaza, protesters doing book tour when they just told her this was 9 days ago. You see how she catching hell? But see this goes back to what you said. You see how she catching hell?
Yes.
With the people, because these are not regular folks, po folks, or people who don't know what's going on.
Thank you.
That's what our problem is.
Facts.
But you see how they on her head?
Yes, sir.
But ain't nobody on, like you say, how the mayor able to walk around. We're not saying you put your hands on them, but you supposed to be calling them out. Water not fixed.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? But them things, but I'm gonna pull this Big Six up because it seems like people forgot about the Big Six. I'm gonna be honest with you.
And see the whole, even when you think about the Harlem Renaissance, and all that time through the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, many times our people that look like me and Mick right now could not go in the front door. The way we was treated and our talents from Richard Wright to brother, I mean, our beautiful Nikki Giovanni, when you go back to Satchmo, when you go back to Billie Holiday, when you understand the construct of evil and our beautiful people that were engaging in moving us to humanity, when you coming off of the plantation where you have no human rights, we are an anomaly to be in this country today, guys, because their design was for us to destroy us. We were never supposed to be in Kamala Harris. I don't care what her politics are, or Barack Obama. We were never supposed to be who I am today, or Mick sitting across from me, because the whole purpose of us here was to work us to death. We were supposed to be erased in this country. This country was taken from people that was already here for white people, period. Nobody else. I know y'all don't want to hear that, and I just want to make it clear. When you look at the history, when you look at the Constitution, if you saying another human being is 3/5, how do you square that with you saying that you believe in Jesus Christ?
No,
Is it Jesus Christ 3/5? I'm just saying.
No, but that just show I'm looking at with Noble Mac from Cincinnati. Thank you for tapping in. And thanks for everybody that's tapping in to hear Brother Roberts from the chairman of Black Lives Matter, Flint, tapping in. They said the problem is we don't support each other, or we're looking for something for nothing. Our grandparents work with each other. We too busy trying to outshine each other, just my opinion. And I do agree with that.
I agree with it 100 facts.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But on that opinion, we need to be forthright to change it. Yeah. See, by holding one another accountable, again, we should shut things down across this country, and that's the power that we do have. We spend $1.7 trillion every year outside of our community. That's our fault.
Yeah,
we would be a third, we would be a ninth country,
the ninth richest country
on the planet with that kind of wealth.
Yeah, 1.7 trillion.
That's some power, y'all.
Why you think so many people come to the neighborhood? Let me put this up for
Thank you.
This from the young lady. Let me give her shout out. I didn't put her what's in that. It's from the Africa Diaspora News Channel. Diaspora News Channel. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll be watching them. I can't think of the dude's name, but let me play this video because it made me think about you because we always talking when we be talking about the boule and stuff.
Yes, sir.
This what made me think about it. Hold on. Let me pause.
Comment to someone the other day, and it goes like this: as long as we are not unified, Black misleadership can continue selling the false idea of hope and change to Black folks. Malcolm told us a long time ago about the Big Six. That hustle is still being used on us today. So what I want you to do is listen to Malcolm X tell the story. Check it out.
They had a meeting at the Carlisle Hotel in New York City. The Carlisle Hotel is owned by the Kennedy family. That's the hotel Kennedy spent the night at 2 nights ago. Belongs to his family. A philanthropic society headed by a white man named Stephen Currier called all the top civil rights leaders together at the Carlisle Hotel and told them that by you all fighting each other, you're destroying the civil rights movement. And since you're fighting over money from white liberals, let us set up what's known as the Council for United Civil Rights Leadership. Let's form this council, and all the civil rights organizations will belong to it. And we'll use it for fundraising purposes. Let me show you how tricky the white man is. And as soon as they got it formed, they elected Whitney Young as the chairman. And who do you think became the co-chairman? Stephen Currier, the white man. A millionaire. Powell was talking about it down at the Cobo today. This is what he was talking about. Powell knows it happened. Randolph knows it happened. Wilkins knows it happened. King knows it happened. Every one of that so-called Big Six. They know what happened. Once they formed it, with the white man over it, he promised them and gave them $800,000 to split up between the Big Six. And told them that after the march was over, they'd give them $700,000 more. $1.5 million split up between the leaders that you've been following, going to jail for, crying crocodile tears for. And there's nothing but Frank James and Jesse James and brothers.
So as you heard there, he was basically saying that the Big Six that was comprised of Martin Luther King Jr., James Farmer, John Lewis, A. Philip Randolph, Roy Wilkins, and Whitney Young, they met at the Carlisle Hotel with a philanthropist, right? And they also met with John F. Kennedy when he was the president in 1963. Now, they again were wanting to organize some sort of march, which we now know was the March on Washington of 1963. But as y'all also heard Malcolm X say, they took, quite a bit of money, especially in the 1960s, to say, okay, listen, let's stop fighting amongst each other, because yes, that was a thing, and it still is a thing now, right? You'll often see these so-called black leaders fight with one another.
Great,
We
great.
back.
So
Go
again,
ahead,
when you
break that down.
mentioned that, understanding that 2013 Citizens United was struck down, which allowed untold amount of money to go into political activism, meaning from businesses. Now businesses can act like a human being. When you think about the Big Six, this is nothing new as far as what they were engaged in. And you got to remember, those James Farmer and all of them people and Dr. King and them were taught and understood an under Christian mentality, and they were brainwashed. Now we can't so much, when we do a breakdown of that behavior, we can highlight their failure, and we also can highlight their accomplishments, because there are some things that happened that had to happen, that had to be found out, because even them, like Dr. King said, I led my people into a burning house. At one time, at the early part of what they were engaged in, guys, when you saying about the Pullman porters,
right?
See, you got to put history in context. So when you contextualize 1865, now the next day, 1865 at 1:01, you Negroes are supposed to be free. They did not give Negroes nothing, right? They had to fend for themselves, Mickey. That's where do you know where family reunion started in Africa, but do you know where the real family reunion started?
No, tell me, because I got a question for you.
It started in 1865 at 1:01 after Emancipation Proclamation, because people started walking for miles and days and months looking for their family members that were sold. That's where family reunion started from, Negroes. And you Negroes that want to say picnic, pick a nigga when they hang us. Back to the Big Six. So the Big Six, even though they were blinded by the Christian theology, as far as love your brother, and these individuals that's manipulating you based on money is there to help you, they too had a mission to control the masses, to making sure they stay in power. So long as I can keep these Negroes in this box and give them a little this over here, they're not going to ask for nothing else.
Well, this is a question for you right
here.
Okay,
sir.
It's from Yogi G. This is the other half of Just a Thought. It said, any thoughts on the most recent attack on the people by taking away SNAP beginning on November 1st? Are you guys doing anything around securing community support for this issue that will be coming up? Because it's going to be some rough times.
We are collectively, as far as Black Lives Matter grassroots, there's 51 chapters across the country. And again, this is not Black Lives Matter, but we have put a call out. We was on a national call last week where we are challenging local theologies or pastors that have a heart for liberation, along with those businesses that's going to help shore up some of the shortfalls that's getting ready to take place. What we're trying to say is how we can unify collectively and go after these entertainers and all these other individuals and put them on notice that we need you guys to step up financially to making sure that our community does not die of malnutrition or be destroyed based on some ideology that's insane. And so and back to collective work, when you mentioned about the Big Six, what does it look like today? Because Malcolm also said at the Ottoman Ballroom, they were having a meeting there, and he said, if we want to get some work done, let's put all of our religion in a closet. And we're not coming in here based on religion. We come in here based on our humanity. So it's not me hating you because you're a Jew, because you're atheist, because you're Baptist, or because you're Roman Catholic. Let's put all that in the, or I'm a Muslim. Let's put all that in the closet and say, how can we work collectively with the resources that we have? Not asking nobody else, because all resources are connected. If those football stadiums are empty on Sunday, do you know what it affects a community where football games are held each Sunday? Do you know what income a football game brings to a community every Sunday, Mick, or every Friday, or every Thursday? Do you know that's big business?
Yeah.
Because everything from dishes to food to hotel to airline, everything imaginable is tied to it. You follow me?
Nah, I've been with you with that. Look how they move people out of their places. You got the girls from DC from Just the Thought talked about how they finna build a new stadium. But do you know they got to move people because they ain't no new land being made.
And you know what? They don't have to, because it's a shame that if you know where the old RFK Stadium is, which they destroyed that community back in the early 60s, they need to rebuild it right there. They don't have to go where they're trying to go, because they can rebuild it right where they destroyed the community to begin with. Again, so it goes back to greed and misinformation. What's going on now? And we got to be, what's going on now is there is a $2 billion effort on all social media platforms to depict Black and brown people as terrorists. We don't want to have that conversation.
They're not going
to, but they want to talk about no kings and all this. They had a military exercise Saturday, shooting live ammunition. They do that to terrorize people. A lot of things happening. ICE is back to the, do you remember the SSS back when you too young, Nick?
Yes,
well,
I am.
But back in the Nazi era, they had this the Gestapo. And I wanted to correct our language. Diaspora. It's called diaspora.
Diaspora. Yeah, I was saying it.
We butchered it wrong.
So did diaspora.
But I always want to make sure we're doing it right for our community, because again, we all learning. As long as you're alive, you're learning. Right. And we all can be corrected. And you don't have to kill me for that or ride by and shoot up my house. Anyway, so when you think about what they were engaging in, is all misinformation and three-car Molly. If I can get you protesting and acting a fool over here, I can have ICE running up in your community. To me, ICE should be dealt with like they are a terrorist group in our community. If you see somebody jump out and you supposed to be hired in your community, you should holler at them. How y'all letting people jump out on you in your community and y'all supposed to be running your so-called block, right?
I'm
talking about the Bloods and the Crips. I'm talking about the L Rookies. And if y'all supposed to be so down and protecting your dope and protecting your territory, and you got these agents, holler at them.
But brother,
meet forth with force.
But brother Robert, these ain't the same ones from back when you was growing up. Remember when they invented the gangs, it was actually protecting their neighborhood.
That's what the gang.
See, people see, they won't go do the real history why gangs was formed in California.
That's where it started, in
Chicago.
Come on now.
Really, they had the sundown towns. If you go watch that movie, Devil in the Blue Dress.
Thank you.
When you see Denzel, when he go to the harbor, I think it was the harbor he went to.
Yes, sir.
Remember the young teens came out.
Yes, sir.
And my man had to pull up with the gun.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That was true.
It's true today.
See, people don't want to admit that part. So that's how the gangs, now how they got corrupted is now you got to go talk it back to your COINTELPRO. You got to go look at your FBI, your CIA. That's why when people saying like how Trump calling the FBI and the CIA outright, yeah, he calling them out what they did to him. He's not calling them out what they did to other people.
Come on now. And again, he's using, and then let me show y'all, bro, because Project 25 is the Constitution.
Right.
And again, what they are being allowed to get away with, they're supposed to be checks and balances. The Congress and the Senate is unacceptable. The Supreme Court is unacceptable. And they knew they've been doing this for 50 years. They knew if they got a hold of all these different elements, right? Mm-hmm. All these different branches, they could run ruckshot over a whole country
Mhm.
because the country would be bamboozled and be filled with fear and put us in the situation we in today, where nobody is willing to step up and just simply stop. You ain't got to fire a bullet. See, the sad part about us as individuals, we have the power. The power is always lie in the dollar.
Mhm.
You shut that dollar off, that's a nuclear bomb.
Oh yeah.
You shut that power off, that's a nuclear weapon, Mick.
But look what Trump did. To me, Trump was showing you what the agencies of America really were. And I see what the young lady, Michelle Mayer, said. When I was a kid, the Nuremberg trials were always in the news. The Nazi activity using ICE is disgusting.
Come on now.
And I get, but see, my thing is, you didn't never have, like you said, checks and balances for he couldn't do this. All it took is one time. Just look how he let the January 6th out. I don't care if people gonna get mad. They're gonna say, only reason January 6th people got let go is because they were white.
That's right.
Let's be honest. But don't nobody never want to admit that. They went and stormed the state capitol. I see
terrorists.
I see people all they justify. That wasn't that.
Terrorist
Dude,
act.
we didn't did Lester stuff and got down in 30 or 40 years.
Thank you.
Just look at Rick Ross.
Thank you.
The real Rick Ross.
They
gave him dope to sell.
Thank you.
And then locked him up. So you mean to tell me, and then after he did 30 years, you want to let him out? But see, that's their mind. Because what they see is, we can do it, you can't do it. That's why Trump, when he coming back busting stuff up, when he want to come out and say, well, yeah, they put, that was false cases they put on me. But what about the Black Panther? What about all them they gave time? What about Fred Hampton, who they want to kill? What about Move 1985 when they dropped the bomb? Even though that was a black mayor, they did it up under a black mayor.
Yes, ma'am. Goody. Yes, sir.
Did any of them get in trouble?
Nope.
Just look what Snyder with the water went down.
Nope.
They set up and then you brought a new attorney on.
Come on.
To blow the case, and then now they sitting up here. And I agree with this. I don't care who putting it out there about the water with the water settlement. Quit lying to these people like it's finna be $1 million out here.
Thank you.
And people don't really understand what that settlement. Do you understand if you was on Medicaid that they taking their money back? This show you how inconsiderate. And then look at the lawyers they sent to you.
Thank you.
No different than the NBA. You supposed to work for me. How is you my lawyer? I mean the NFL. How you my lawyer?
And you work for the NFL.
Yeah. Just look how you gave the owners more. Same thing with the NBA.
Thank you.
People don't understand. Ain't nowhere in the world football should have a salary cap.
No way.
Shouldn't have no
way.
You can be hurt the first game till you every time
for the rest of your life.
Every time you play, it's an injury waiting to happen. So how you gonna have a 3-year career? I mean, 3 years, you got to sign 3 years before they pay you. See, this was the game they pushed the running back out.
Yes,
you
sir.
don't gotta pay the running back like that. Now it's just the quarterback. Because who was the most privileged person? They feel the quarterback on the team.
Thank you. And even that's changing now because it's becoming more black. But when you make a good point, because again, even when you use that model,
right?
And do you know the NFL is a nonprofit organization?
Facts.
Unacceptable. But the problem is, it go back to simple. It's the Negroes that's involved that's putting their bodies on the line for it.
Yeah.
Because when you think about collective bargaining and any negotiation, just like when they had that strike in the 70s, there's no way in the world that you're supposed to give up concessions dealing with your mental health, your physical health, just to get crumbs. And these billionaires, look at it. Do you know Jerry Jones had run a plantation?
Yeah.
Those NFL 32 teams are plantation operations, and they actually be watching individual fallacies. They have people that come into their little areas down there in Texas, and it's all beautiful and everything, but they got the select few like Epstein, where they got these mirrors in this hallway where the mirrors are connected to the training room where the guys be walking in and out of the shower. So they got a select few of their people that can watch black men walking in and out of the shower, and that's how they get off. See, we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about those kind of exploitation because you giving a Negro that's in poverty or some established volunteer agent some peanuts to put his life on the line every day, and he thinking he's somebody, and as soon as you get hurt, they cut you. And again, most of them have mental illness. Most of them 5 years are broke. Most of them marry somebody snow bunnies and be Tiger Wood. Most of them get Tiger Wood.
Yeah.
And then Cobbler Nation. And then they do something wrong and your mugshot got down there black. Tiger Woods say he was combination. When he had that mugshot, it said
but you know what that come from, though, brother. Let's be honest. What school did Tiger Woods go to? Stanford, right?
Yes, sir.
Who was Tiger Woods around? Wasn't Earl his daddy a Green Beret?
Yes, sir.
So Earl wasn't around no regular folks like that. Who did Earl marry?
Korean.
Okay, so what was Earl playing there? Earl probably had a family before Tiger Woods, but
but
you don't hear about Tiger Woods' siblings and none of that.
No, you don't.
Okay, so that tell you all you need to know. Same thing with the Serena girls. They come from Compton by way of Saginaw, right? When they got into that tennis sport, who was there around?
White people.
So what you think they're gonna be attracted to? You see Serena, up here.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, man. Doing the stuff to her face. She don't like that. She was a natural, thick woman. Just look at the stuff that they do to
be
us.
White.
But that's the stuff that they do because she's so far removed from being around black. She just used to being around the selected blacks. The ones who got money like her. It's just being honest.
I mean, she doing a pattern like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, she doing.
She do just like Michael.
Just look at Michael when he said he had these kids. And Michael was a woke brother, allegedly.
Woke.
Allegedly,
yes.
I'm gonna go woke. How did you get these 3 kids? And you look at them kids right now.
Unacceptable.
Here's them one, and you gonna tell me you use your DNA. Your DNA when we got examples. When a black mixed with a white, we know what you're gonna look like.
Thank you.
Point blank.
Point blank.
This ain't no rocket science.
No rocket
science. But you see the stuff how they played with him?
Yes, sir.
It's just a game. That's what it is. What you think gonna happen, but you get showed every time. They didn't mind that magic. I mean, that Michael went and dealt with the lady he went and dealt with. She wasn't no big thing to their society.
No, sir.
You got to go look at that
because it's part of the mission to go back to No Kings. When we talk about over 50, there are over 50 known white hate groups. That's not talked about on social media.
Why?
They just said the other day they're gonna talk about these white conservatives that were talking crazy on their platform, and many of them making 6 and 7 figures. That's nothing new.
I know who you're talking about.
Let me make this point. Just like that boy, what was it, John Gruden in the NFL?
When he said that, John Gruden.
All them was talking nasty, homophobic, and racist over the internet chat. Yep. This is the conversation that white people have about us. Why are we surprised at that?
No, hold up. What did they say? They was young, the vice president of the United States. That was your Republican Party. Did you see that? Them young Republicans that hold these jobs.
Hold those jobs.
They tried
and
to
they are, and when you say holding those jobs, they are being trained and groomed.
Right. And they tried to say they was kids. These was 40-year-olds.
They being groomed to take over power for Mitch McConnell.
Facts.
Barack Obama could not swear in his own judge, man. Yeah. He could not swear in Garland. He could not swear in Garland, man.
You know why? Because at the time
they made up a rule.
Mitch McConnell and all of them.
Mitch McConnell and made up a rule just like they making up rules every day. They making up, and my thing is those Negroes up there in Congress, those Negroes should, what do you call them? The
Congressional Black Caucus.
Yeah. Unacceptable. Mickey, unacceptable, man, because you need to be back in the community on the front line saying, shut this country down. This country is not, listen, man, it's going to implode unless we shut this country down because power, uncontrolled, Mickey, a fire, if you don't check a fire, it'll burn everything in its way, Mickey. And that's what these people are. They are part of cancer and part of poison. If you don't stop poison, it's going to poison. It's nature. It's going to do what is in its nature, like in the Matrix. You do what your nature tells you to do. You can't do anything other than what if you naturally imbued to hate, Nikki, you can't find no love, Nikki. Everything you see, you hate, Nikki.
No, I'll give you an example.
I mean, Mickey.
No, I'll give you an example. When Jedediah came here.
Yes, sir.
I heard an ENA board member. I heard a pastor out here, talked about, the pastor went to social media. The ENA board member didn't, but you know what they said? Oh, I would have killed. They ain't stayed with, he came to my house, he would have never came back. But I never once heard from the ENA board member when that white man went and put mail in her mailbox. Thank you. She didn't say, but she would do to him.
Thank you.
But you know what she said? I heard all the blacks was talking about because we don't see each other as brothers and sisters.
We don't.
But you know what she wasn't gonna say? And I'm not telling her she's supposed to do something to him. But you was willing to kill a person that looked like you.
Yes.
Oh, you could have been his mama.
Yes.
That's the difference. You could have birthed him.
Yes.
Could have been his mama. But you didn't see him as that. But you saw Doug. But you didn't want to say nothing about Doug going in your mailbox or oppressed child. I keep saying it because these how the Negroes here in Flint is.
1712, Willie Lynch.
Yeah.
Even though the letter, again, when you think about the fictition, but when you look at the order of the conditioning of that, what he was saying on those plantations, and again, once you can train an individual to hate themselves and their fellow man, you got them for life. And they're going to birth it for generations.
Fact.
So this is something that's been birthed for 500 years, how we hate one another. So since we have been born into hating one another, we must collectively work to change that condition around. Once you are aware that you have been bamboozled, that you've been poisoned, why would you continue to be poisoned? Why would you accept a 3-card Molly? When you are aware and you're supposed to say that I have risen out of my madness, I have changed my understanding. Now I'm mature. There's different being a child. Now I'm mature. I've got some reasoning. When you intentionally continue your reasoning to justify your hatred for what it looks like in the mirror, so I can kill the person in the mirror.
Facts.
They don't have you. They used to say, you don't even have to make a door for black people. We will go find a back door because we're afraid to come in the front door.
Facts.
That has been the fear. When you think about the slave patrols, just like with ICE, all those were fear tactics that were born out of the Roman Empire. I mean, when you go back in time, and that's why time is so important, because there's nothing new. What people are doing is reinventing or reimagining pain and suffering as opposed to goodness. See, some people say goodness is a burqa bag or a $10,000 purse.
Facts.
Or some red bottom shoes.
Right.
Or you want to get a BBL.
Right.
Some people think that, I'm sorry.
No, hold. I got the video for you. Hold that thought. I'm finna play it on the this is JD Vance. I got this from CNN. This is JD Vance. This is the Vice President of the United States calling these. You'll see. Let me just play it for you.
The reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke.
Let me find the right one, family. That got music on it. Brother Rob, you can go ahead a little bit up play. Let me find another one.
So as I was just saying about how this individual can justify hating another person, another black person. Again, when you have been taught to value eyelashes, long nails, long hair that's not even yours. At one time, our hair was our crown, was our beauty. And again, as nappy and kinky as it was naturally gifted and proud of it. But when you have been brainwashed to hate your hair, to hate the texture of your skin, the beautiful different shades that we come in. Do you know we come in every shade under the rainbow because we the first people? So when you be taught to justify a $10,000 or $15,000 pair of pants over loving and embracing and hugging a child, I don't want to have nothing to do with them children. I don't want to have nothing to do with these old people. When you can jettison your elderly and say that I'm going to put my mother and father into a home and never come see them, That's not our culture. See, we are behaving. We are a abomination of what we were in Africa. I know a lot of times you guys hate to hear that. And I know you don't want to identify with Africa because you want to identify with being white. You want to identify with your $1 million house. And you thinking that $1 million house is going to give you a pass into acceptance. And even though you live in a community where people hate you and you live with a HOM that tells you that your grass could be certain length high, or that your black children better not touch a tree, because if that black child touch a tree in that gated community, they can kick you out. Because again, we've been brainwashed to hate ourselves and to love some chains around our neck. I thought it's so appalling the other day. A wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, he was talking and couldn't speak at all. So you know he's an uneducated Negro making millions of dollars. But he had on, in his mouth, he had some kind of, I don't know how the kids do it, but he had diamonds in his mouth.
A gold grill.
He had a grill in his mouth, 2 to the head. See, them kind of people.
No, hold that thought. Hold that thought, brother. The views of Brother Roberts are not those 18. Let me play this video, Brother Roberts.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you went off a little bit.
I'm sorry.
I got
Forgive
you.
me.
New generation of Republican activists talk when they think no one's listening, and it's really ugly. Politico obtained more than 7 months of Telegram chat messages between about a dozen young Republican leaders in New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. Now, MSNBC has not independently reviewed those messages, but what Politico published today shows the conservatives openly praising Adolf Hitler, making celebratory jokes about gas chambers and slavery and rape. For example, when the chair of Arizona Young Republicans asked if the New Yorkers in the chat were watching an NBA playoff game, New York State Republican Chair Peter Junta responded, "I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkeys play ball." We should note that when Politico asked for comment, the Arizona Young Republican chair declined. Junta claimed the release of the chat is part of, quote, highly coordinated year-long character assassination led by an opponent, I think a kind of internecine opponent, a fellow conservative. Out of 28,000 messages obtained, Politico identified 251 bigoted epithets in the chat. There were many more outrageous examples of racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, homophobia than we could or would want to repeat here. Here's the thing. These are not we're not talking about kids here. The age limit to the group was 40. Many chat members work inside government or party politics. One's a state senator. Another works in Trump's small business administration. Politico reports that since they began making inquiries, at least 4 members of the chat have lost their jobs or had job offers rescinded. Now, this kind of virulent hatred on display here has become quite familiar in Trump's very online Republican Party. I mean, all you have to do is find it is open a website called x.com, right? And you can see it everywhere. That one's run by Donald Trump's biggest political donor. Or you can see Trump administration officials and official U.S. government accounts on social media exulting in sadistic edgelord cruelty and celebrating hatred and prejudice. But now it's also becoming clear that the people who are running the Republican Party at the ground level are just immersed in this cesspit of.
Oh, you back on.
Yes.
So how you feel about that?
Oh, this is nothing new.
Okay.
This is how, and again, this is how they act in private and in public. 32 team owners, if you call NFL and football, are white supremacists. That's nothing new, Mickey.
But did you see how the news they tried to play? These was young kids.
Yes, sir. And
like you got the vice president, kids do what kids do. These wasn't no 15-year-old.
Yeah, and that
13.
And they always do that. And again, one thing that I really love about a racist is that they are 100% racist. I can deal with you if you hate me. Right. And again, now we can deal on a one-on-one, however you want that to handle. Because again, at least you're not lying.
Right.
And at least now you called yourself out. Now, I respect a person that hates me because don't know me, don't know nothing about me, but hate me because I'm black. I can deal with a person that hate me because I'm black.
Right.
And me, I don't hate no white person.
Right.
Because again, I really don't deal with white people on a daily basis. But because I live in a white society, I've had to, again, harden myself and work to understand their sickness, right?
Mhm.
So I don't destroy myself as far as my sanity. But again, it's pitiful and it's comical, but it's painful that people have always justified hatred. They fuel it just like before Trump said there's good people on both sides in Charlottesville, right?
Right.
So when you are a white supremacist like Nazi Germany or like Hitler, Hitler did not happen overnight. It was conditioning, Mick.
Oh no,
And
facts.
so a lot of time people engage in different activities because they get paid to do it, right?
Right.
A lot of time people don't really hate people or hate black people, but they get paid to hate black people. And
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith get paid to hate black people.
No, but that's
So
what it is.
so that's what it is. My thing with Stephen A. Smith and people like him and that one guy, that fat guy, is, well, excuse me, that large guy.
You talking about Jason Whitlock?
Yeah, is it's our fault that these people can still move in our community and not have no repercussions.
But you know, a lot of
They
them
shouldn't be invited to no HBCU
But you know,
university.
ain't none of them is really. But you know, but look, if you look at the HBCU, look at the ones who get money. They are really, they part of the bootleg. They don't care about the small folks. See, we not getting to see Jason Whitlock or Roland Martin. They gonna be able to get to come to the party, regardless of Jason on the Republican side and Roland on the Democratic side. They still getting funded by the same millionaires
Right.
that hang out together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, did you see when Obama got in, did he change the Bush tax cuts? Did Biden change the Bush tax cuts?
No.
So that's telling you how that is.
Nope, sure didn't.
So it's telling you what it is. Like, we can get on here, we can get up here and say every time when the Democrats get in power. But what would happen to the Republicans, that little thing right there, you want me to believe that the Democrats ain't talking like that too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, this what I find it hilarious.
And the liberals and the Green Party. Because when you're dealing with white supremacy don't, ideologies out the door. Even when you think about religion.
Yeah.
When you think about white supremacy, they don't adhere to anything other than white supremacy. Period. That's it. But when you think about the tax code, back in 1950, Mick, when you think about the tax code and what the taxes was doing, do you know businesses had to expend at least 52% of their taxes, over $1 million, had to go into taxing for the betterment of the community, meaning the country. Yeah. It wasn't for a business that's exploiting and making and using all the roads, all the electricity and water, and saying, I'm gonna keep all my money and I'm gonna give a tax break. You're gonna give a tax break to Lear for 50 years in Flint, Michigan. Who does that? So let's do local as opposed to national.
Come on with it.
That's why Flint doesn't have any resources, because they done gave all Flint property away.
Just think about the county. Look at all the stuff they gave off over there. See, people don't really want to understand. It's like they over here, like, you worrying about what's going over here, but look who running it. Go look at the county. Why you think everything went over there? How Flint go from supplying the outer cities to we now they supplying us, we paying them? Because the county is ran by white, and white people in the county is running the city. I use the analogy: Flint was the mothership. Everything else around Flint was the satellite. And again, Flint being predominantly black. And again, when you look at it on every day at 5 o'clock, if you stand on the corner of Court Street and 475, you see all of those white judges, white lawyers, white police officers, FBI agents, DDA, Uptown Development, all these people leaving, either going out to Grand Blanc, 475, make it so they can get out of town, or they leaving going to Owasso. But they come into Flint to exploit Flint, giving 1% of they pay 0.5% to Flint structure as far as taxes, and all of their money, all of their other money goes into their suburban communities. And you saying that is by
design, because Coleman Young said if you worked for Detroit, you had to live in Detroit.
Oh, they don't care about that here.
No, they don't. And back to what the initial conversation based on, when you are afraid and been brought up to fear someone you never met, because every time they put Willie Horton up, they put all these images up on TV. Do you know every day in America there is a mass shooting? A mass shooting is 4 people or more. Every day. It's not reported. Every day there is something going criminally wrong in Fenton, in Flushing, every day in Grand Blanc, and it's never reported, Mick. They never report the crimes that happen in these white communities.
Why
That's
is that?
by design. That's by design. The same thing when a house go up for sale in these white communities, they don't even put a sign out, because it go back to the valuation. They value their community and one another. But what we value a BBL. We value going to a club and popping off. We value shooting up someone else's house because I'm mad at you because you talked about my nephew that got shot over some glasses. A young man last month got shot and killed over some Gucci glasses that his girlfriend lost and she had all the time.
I heard about that.
Unacceptable when we value some Gucci glasses, because I want to make this clear. Why would you think somebody else or another community is going to respect us when we don't respect ourselves, Mickey? Why do you think the Chaldeans or Syrians and all these other communities that exploited our communities don't respect us when we don't? Why do we shop with people?
Just look what they did.
I go in the store and I can speak a little Arabic, and what they saying when we come in and out the store is appalling. I only selectively go to a few stores collectively because I know a couple of stores that we have went to them and they have donated. So Dowdu down on Saginaw Street, some good Muslim people, support that because they have helped out in different areas. I make sure that I try to buy my gas with no local stores at all. I do not. Because again, when you think about the exploitation of our community, we have to be conscious about how we spend our money. I was out 2 weeks ago protesting in front of Mr. B's. I'm on the sidewalk by myself and black people, and I'm telling them don't shop there at all. Where else were we going to shop? I say, let's have a conversation about that. Because again, we got to have an alternative to where these people need to shop and not at Landmark. And again, it's our job to be engaged in a flagship company like a Standard or a Marathon or a Mobile that's going to come in on the north side, and we can partnership with them to develop Black Wall Street on the north side. We can do that.
But you ain't gonna get enough that's gonna help. You're gonna get people that's gonna knock you down. Let's be honest, Brother Robert. A lot of these so-called black organizations, who is they funded by?
They're funded by white people.
Okay, so that is you just like Kanye, and I keep going back. When Kanye was trying to create his own clothing line, he didn't want to go through what they let him know. No, as long as you with Adidas, you can we can go ahead and push your stuff through. They're not gonna let you own. And every time you try to own, they're going to let you know who you is.
I think that's a fact, but I do think that we can't give up.
No.
And I think that as long as I'm alive, I'm pushing that, because I do believe before 1865, and again, we were enslaved, didn't have nothing. After 1865, thousands of black insulated communities developed. They don't never talk about that. That's not in the history books. Black people were self-sufficient after 1865 and did some incredible things, and white people was jealous of it, because that's why they destroyed our community. 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, Orangetown, the list go on and on and on. North Carolina, South Carolina, about white people coming into black communities and destroying them because we were insulated. Right. You don't want to mess with me? Facts, deuces. Even with the music industry, we messed up with the music industry. How are we going to met these people develop distribution when we supposed to have distribution. Motown shouldn't have never left Detroit like it did. When you think about Stack, when you think about Philly, when you
Yeah.
think about all of these entities,
They tricked them.
and we supposed to own our own publishing,
But
our own writing,
but you
our
always-
own catalog.
But Brother Rob, you all have somebody sell you out. You know, if they try to
Facts.
wine you and dine you, that's why I go
Facts.
look at that parable in the Bible when they say the devil took Jesus up. I'll give you all of this.
Facts.
That was really talking about, but see, people can't see they self. That's just like when that Jordan Sheraton wrote that book, We the Poison, when he said
Yes.
they came in and brought your activists out.
Yes.
The people go in there sitting up with them billionaires, come on out. You wonder why they switch sides.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you know what I'm saying? When Donald Sterling was speaking, he was telling the truth
Telling
when he
the truth.
said, I feed them, I clothe them. Because what happened once you out of the NBA? Why do most players who don't, when they retire, they either go broke? Why would they go broke? If you had all these millions, that's like you giving a kid millions of dollars. What
Exactly.
you think gonna happen? Then you putting all these women around them.
Thank
They
you.
all of a sudden got all these drugs around them. How can a person go from watch the Temptation story?
Yeah.
I mean, Motown wanted the Temptation.
Yes, that's
What was
a
my
good
man
one.
said to when he went on tour? He wasn't even drinking. All he did was drink milk. What happened? Picked up a habit.
Picked up a
Because
habit.
first of all, you putting them around people who already done been out there like that. It's very rarely do you gonna get somebody that's gonna tell you like, look, man, this the ropes. Don't do this. How can I tell you don't do it, but I'm doing it?
Yep, exploitation. And again, I think that's a good point you use about the music industry and how the music industry has destroyed most of all of our greats.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about even those that were never famous. Again, when you get caught up on understanding that your talent is for the universe as opposed to it being monetized. See, the monetization of a talent becomes the poison that is indicted of that artistry, right?
Mhm.
So when you think about Prince and you go back to Curtis, when you go all the way back in time to our great griots and those individuals back in time, when you think about Charlie Parker and
Yeah.
Thelonious Monk,
Right.
you know, when you think about Dorothy Dandridge, and even when you think about our sister Lady Day, right? I mean, intentionally they put dope on Billie Holiday. You hear me?
Mhm.
Because it was exploitation.
Now look at
With
DMX.
Whitney Houston,
They
exploitation,
knew
man.
DMX was on drugs, but you know what they did? I watched Leo Cohen when he said Leo Cohen.
Going.
Yeah, the guy, the executive.
Yeah.
He got up on there. I remember Charlamagne asked him, but what you feel about these people being drugs and you letting them still do drugs? Well, I gotta feed my family.
Yes, sir.
I was like, damn.
Oh, come on.
So it's no different. You see, only thing is the times are different.
That's the only
Billie
thing.
Holiday was on drugs, Bird was on drugs. They give them the drugs. But
Give
why do
them
they
the
give them the drugs?
Again, because it's about control and exploitation. Because again, when I have you hyped up on something else, I can steal from you. And I got somebody else in the wings because from your money you making me, I got the next one coming up, right?
Yeah.
So it's a business for them, and the Jewish community is at fault for a lot of this behavior. Again, they are at the forefront of a lot of this exploitation. They were at the forefront, along with the Arab community, for the enslavement of Black and brown people on the Sahara, in the Sahara slave trade, and along with the Atlantic slave trade. So it's always been about power and exploitation. How can I exploit your talent for the benefit of me? So if I'm a lawyer and I understand copyright law, and you as a singer or whatever, you don't understand the law, or you that wrote this song and you didn't have sense enough to make sure that you get it patented or you make sure you get it copyright, I can use your jingle for the next 1,000 years and I get money and your family don't get a dime. You follow me? That's intentional, Mick. That's why Marvin and Gaye family had to fight Justin Timberlake and them and Pharrell and them for them exploiting just a little beat. It was 5 seconds a beat. But again, I'm proud of the Gaye family for making sure that their legacy is going to be healed and made whole again, and you're not going to exploit Marvin's Gaye tune.
Look at Angie Stone.
Oh
She
man,
was still fighting to get her stuff.
that is a and see, instead of having freak parties, So we should be sending Jay-Z and all these people with these money should be sending our students and young people to school to make sure they learn in these different areas of law to protect other artists, as opposed to how freaky can I get?
But that's the stuff. But why you think, and it's the sad thing, you think Puff Daddy was the only one that went to them parties?
No.
I saw so many people were scrambling, but see, they picked him because of them other ones. They not gonna go against the system. For that moment, Puffy thought he was bigger than the program.
Thank you.
He didn't understand when they told him, look, boy, we give you $60 million a year. That's enough.
Thank you.
That's enough.
Thank you.
And all of a sudden they pulled up and ain't nobody saying, they pulled up a law from the 1900s that they pulled up on Jack Johnson.
The Mann Act.
And then what
the
happened?
Mann Act.
Jack Johnson won the heavyweight, but they don't talk about this because America don't want to talk about this. Y'all went out and lynched some Negroes because Jim Jeffries lost.
Jim Jeffries lost.
That's how mad
the Great
they
White
was.
Hope lost.
And that's how mad they was. And I mean, they stripped him. No different. You got to think. They didn't have another black heavyweight champion to 25 years later.
Right.
So people not understanding all the stuff that was going on. Then when you go look how they did with Joe Louis. Man, Joe Louis got robbed. But didn't nobody see nothing wrong. Made him join the army.
Yeah.
Then had him do all them exhibition fights.
Yep.
Then hit him for tax. Not even talk about the Max Bear, even though he stepped over, you know, if he can get that belt when he fought Max Schilling.
Yeah.
What'd he do? Max Bear was still getting part of his
percentage
of his purse. But don't nobody see nothing wrong with that.
Or like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, but then nobody see nothing. But see, when Don King went and did it, Don King, where you think Don King learned the game from?
Come on, from his white handlers.
Okay, where did he learn? Then Don King like, okay, I could break a loose from y'all. But he never really broke a loose. He just went with the other handlers. Was like, we'll give you a little something more, Don. Then the other one was no different when you saw the Cleveland Cavaliers owner versus the Miami Heat owner. Remember when LeBron left?
Yeah.
Dan Gilbert said some scathing stuff about him.
Come on now.
But he told his truth. Because at the end, he looked at, boy, I gave you this. I made your family rich.
Come on.
And you going to leave me and go down there to Mickey Arson?
Come on now.
What they didn't tell you when LeBron went and joined the Heat at that time, did you know the Miami Heat went to worth then at $3 billion?
Yes, sir. The plantation owner.
And them was just owners mad for a second, but guess who got back cool? They was back cool.
Come on, that's what
plantation
owners, that's what white supremacy does. A lot of times white people don't get along with each other, but they got a full understanding about keeping power. We got it twisted where we don't have no power and hate each other.
Yeah.
See, you think about that. A lot of times these white people don't even like each other, but they work together because it's about making sure we are exploited and we are denied any opportunity. But we don't have nothing.
Right.
But we've been taught to hate and kill and be jealous of each other and don't have nothing. And the little that we do have, collectively, we're unwilling to share because we've been trained to not trust this person, that person. But back to Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was at his pinnacle, said, I'm not going to fight. These people ain't never called me no nigga. And they took his livelihood away from him. He did not do anything to deserve that type of treatment. And back to the Big Six and back to those Negroes, even though a lot of athletes supported him. But the bottom line, I fought our community for not shutting the community down even then. And the Nation of Islam didn't step up in the way that I thought they should have, because they should have shut this country down on that brother being treated like that. I think that was a turning point in our community, because again, that was an opportunity where we could have done some, where the nation, where Elijah Muhammad was full of some mess, even himself at that time.
No, but brother, we got to quit that hate that be coming on now. Because if you're going to sit up here and knock the nation, then you know Black Lives Matter ain't did no better. Y'all said, no, but we got to be honest now. We're going to be for real. Since you want to go with that, we're going to be real. See, them be problems that we have in the black community right there. You will condemn what you think because what you feel. You condemn them, but damn, look at y'all organization. Y'all ain't did nothing going on in the city of Flint. You don't even agree with everything, but you got to ride with it because you that part of that organization. And this is the problem. But y'all the leaders of the community, and then y'all want people to follow y'all, and y'all half of your goddamn leadership is dealing with the people that we fighting against. We did not see Black Lives Matter down there. And that's a disgrace. And I'm going to tell you why we right here. You know, I tell you on the phone. Y'all didn't never once come down there and fight when y'all see the people going through what they going through. But y'all will go jump up and went to the No Kings, what's the name? What about all the problems going on in the city of Flint? It's easy to call out somebody else, but what have y'all done in the city of Flint?
So some things that we have done
that benefited the people. Don't come just that one or two. What was y'all at when these older people was getting snatched out their cars? What was y'all at when the people was getting their ass whooped down in city council? I'm just asking, what was y'all at when the police was snatching people up, taking them and arresting them, holding them for 72 hours?
Yeah, well, when you mention about those incidents, and again, you have to be clear, you know, even though we were around, and again, what kind of impact can we actually have collectively? Individually, I can only do so much. Collectively, unless we have the community, I'm only one person. Or DeWan, let me make my point.
Go ahead, because I got it back.
Or DeWan, because again, when you think about what is leadership, leadership is a collective effort. So again, me being down at the council, or me speaking out against the mistreatment, or even talking to the chief of police, because that behavior was unacceptable. So when you mention about where do we be at on these situations that's happening, like down at the city hall, coming down to the city hall, to me personally, I won't come because I think it's futile. Personally, that's how I believe that my action, or the action that I can engage in, is what I have control of, meaning greeting the students, community conversation. How do we have some collective work where we can say, and I can join you if you're saying you are engaged in this action? How can we support one another in this action? Back to the people being pulled out of the car. We went down there to talk to the chief ourselves behind that happening. Didn't get no action from him as far as those officers being brought up on charges. So this is behind the scene dealing with Mr. Green. Those officers we felt should have been brought up on charges. Again, no, even with Rayvon Shaheed, even that action with the state police, we're still part of fighting that, even though the attorney general have turned her back. So there's still ongoing action, but the action is not one individual. We can highlight, like you say, No Kings to me was a commercial. Because when you think about the real fight, is collectively saying, how do we shut down our community, and saying we're going to put resources back into our community where our children are being proficient? How do we engage in building our community where we see these homes being repaired, where our family members are not afraid to engage with one another and loving one another, as opposed to calling somebody out for 911 and you come out and you get killed, as opposed to calling Black Lives Matter grassroots Flint to come out and help to de-escalate a situation. So those are the things that we should be engaging in, as far as how do we bring one another together. The only reason why I was calling out the nation back then with Muhammad Ali, because they intentionally put strife between Malcolm.
But brother, but what you don't know, when you got a mission, when you doing something, that's just like me trying to put strife in you and DeWan. I wouldn't do it. I just would tell you. But people on the outside, that'd be really what the problem is. Because I could bring up videos where he said he wanted to get back with him. But the thing is, we got to sometimes take away our pettiness of what we don't know what was going on in that organization. You wasn't talking to Elijah. No. You weren't talking to Malcolm. We're just going by what other people were saying on the strife. Anytime somebody split up, don't you know, when me and Winters, we fell out with tying up, they had people who went with them, and we had people who stayed with us. Right. But see, what make it more mucky it up the water, when you got people who like y'all gonna defend you, and people who like her gonna defend her. So you got to understand, see, when we keep calling out what we don't do, we gonna continue, because just like you can point out them, a person can point out your what's the name.
Well, I think even when we point out, there's good criticism can be corrected. Facts. And the only reason I'm bringing up the nation is because, and I was at the nation for the Million Man March celebration, and a couple of other things that happened last week, and I brought some young people with us. And again, and see, those things that we do is never on the news or highlighted. Yeah. But I do believe that we can take from what happened And I apologize if I made any disparaging remarks. Let me just make this point, because I do believe that history can help us direct our energy to change our mentality to get some things done. And I do believe that collectively, I'm not always right, nor are some other people, but I do believe that we should be able to have a conversation, even though we may not agree totally. But there are some things that should be factual, meaning how can we love each other and all of us eat? How can we love each other and all of us eat? Because if you're saying that for me to eat, I got to take something off your plate, I do believe that the plate is big enough where all of us should eat. And that's the same token where there should not be, like you said about strife, there should not be a situation where I'm saying where was the NAACP or where was Black Lives Matter grassroots? Because collectively, if we're called out and challenged to engage, as we've been saying, let's do something block by block. What does that mean? So let's take Pulaski Street and say Marengo. How can we take those two streets, where those two streets, everybody on that street know one another?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we know one another, how do we engage? One person on that street may have the ability to say, well, I'm going to start a reading class. After school at 5 o'clock every day, we're going to have reading class for 1 hour. I'm opening up my house. This ain't got nothing to do with no drama. I'm opening up my house to help young and old to be able to read. Those are the actions when we talk about how do we engage our community by building our community to the degree where we are doing some things collectively, because it is about our future. How do we engage in bringing these children up where they're going to be leaders? And then how do we treat our elderly as they going off the scene? Because everybody has value. So a lot of times people say, I'm old, or I'm 60, or I'm 70, or I'm 80 years old, and they a lot of times sitting at home or going somewhere, and they feel that they have no purpose. We need to repurpose folks.
But what's the problem on that though, brother Robert? See, like what we saying, reason because I'm looking at this, like you said, you went and met the chief. What other organizations you took with you when you went to go meet the chief behind the scenes? See, that's the problem. There's too many behind the scenes. What other organizations you went with when you went and met the chief of police?
The only group that actually went with us was those people over there at the St. Luke's.
Did you call out? Did you reach out to the NOI of Flint to go with y'all?
No,
brother LaRon.
No.
Did y'all reach out to Nan?
No.
Did y'all? I'm just saying. But see, this is the problem. See, when y'all went, y'all just went with y'all, and you know what? But you got to bring all of them in. You can't. I agree. But see, that's the problem. Till you bring all of them in, and y'all go do. But I would have did it out publicly. All that going behind the door, just like I was asking Brother Ellie. I mean, it wasn't Brother Ellie. I was asking when I was on Just a Thought show. When I said, when all these politicians come into these churches, who do it benefit? The pastor, or do it benefit the people that's in the church?
Pastor.
So why is these people study letting these people come into the church?
Because again, it's a game they play.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Until we can clean that up.
I agree.
Yeah, until we can clean it up.
I received that. And to be on point, one thing, the problem we have a lot of times in our community is people won't talk to each other because of past relationships. I've had that. Even this morning, I saw a brother, and I'm not gonna mention his name, and I asked him. He's prominent in our community, black brother. He's a therapist, and I asked him, to be a part of what we're doing with greeting the students, and he gonna say, "Do you get paid for it?"
I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
these people ain't doing nothing for nothing.
Yeah, that's what he said. But I love what you said about it, even with Chief Green, and that it's so and like when I intentionally denied stopped doing something, even when I was coming down to the city council meetings because of the vitriol, and I know I can't be in a place where people are being violated and not do anything. I could not be around police being unacceptable, and I'd be dead because I'm not going to jail anymore. So I would be dead.
I agree.
So I know I should stay away from places because I don't have that. I'm too old now for that kind of temperament. So I have to be careful with my energy. But I do love what you just said, because even when you try to go and meet with Ridgeway White and all these other people, they have an agenda. And many times they're not Negroes, just like with Community Foundation. They're not going to meet with you unless you part of the boule.
I keep telling you.
That guy down there bursting. It's sad when you think about, we as a community don't really have anything. And we have the nerve to have gatekeepers that is gatekeeping a gate that is an illusion. Because at any moment it will become dissolved, because you may not have said something the right way, or you may have not, as far as identified me in a certain way, then we're going to cut off all your funding. Look what the guy said. The guy said that I love this government shutdown because now I can end all Democrat programs. That's insane, because when you think about democracy or programs in America, most of the programs in America was designed to help white people, Mickey. They didn't have, there are more poor white people than black people.
Yeah,
Mickey.
I've been saying that. It's more of them.
There's more white people on Snap than black people, Mickey.
But they don't, but see the
I mean,
image,
you think about that.
But when you get the image, brother, from Fox News, like, I didn't think people didn't really watch nothing else. Like, I watched all of it. I watched CNN. I watched MSNBC. I watched Fox News. Like, I can tell you the people, all the people from the shows, because I actually watch them. Then I go watch the podcast. Really, I barely watch TV now, because you can see it's a script.
It's a script. And if you don't stick to the script, we're going to eliminate you. Just like when you, and only reason I went to watch, because they told me I needed to watch what Stephen A. Smith said about Miss Crockett.
Yeah.
And so how do you have a president can say, and his administration, and the young lady, the press secretary.
Oh, Pam Bondi.
God, dog, Mickey. Just like that lady from, what was her dad was a governor, and now she the governor. Holcomb, got a crazy name. He a religious zealot, but he was a governor, one of them, Mississippi, whatever. But she was the press secretary for Mr. Trump before, and now she the governor. But again, when you can actually get paid, Huckabee, when you can get paid and be celebrated for lying, Mickey, that's another level of evil, that you can actually become a billionaire for being a deplorable human being. And I think when you think about the state of affairs today, back to how you engage in slapping Chris Rock, and your card is not permanently taken away from you, Mick, because you part of the structure, Mick.
But that really showed you his wife sent him up there. She made him down and throw his career away.
Unacceptable.
And they know he's a comedian. Chris Rock, what he gonna do? But what has been other people, and I go back to this, because we don't see each other as really a brother and sister. That's why he went up there. Don't disrespect my wife, knowing 1,000 other people done did it. Then y'all running through Hollywood allegedly, knowing that swingers. Are you serious?
Are you serious? And I think the appalling of that is, it goes back to what we said earlier about our self-hate. When we talked earlier about our internal hatred, right? Because he wouldn't have done that to Seth Rogen or Jimmy Kimmel, would he?
But because you know why? Because he knew what it would have been. It would have been done.
My point exactly. And so when we think about that locally, so a lot of time locally, how do we engage each other, as you say, city council, or at the sheriff department, or what the appalling condition is going down at the county jail? A lot of time that conversation is not had, or the exploitation of the phone system at the county jail.
But why would it be had? Because a lot of people are cool with them. You got to be honest. Let's be honest. We got blacks who work down there. You don't think they see nothing wrong with what's going on?
Man, I don't know if you ever dealt with that black sister at the desk.
No, I'm talking about just from John Eldon down there. You don't think they know what's going on? There's no shot to John Eldon. You don't think they see what's going on?
Yes, sir. And they
Do
can.
you don't think? But the music thing being down there,
That's
like
unacceptable.
Like even with these programs, y'all waste more money trying to get them now. But why wouldn't y'all do that when they was in school?
Thank you.
That's my
Thank
only
you.
thing. It's like I'm not, like I say, I'm not knocking nobody.
Thank you.
I'm just saying, but there's so many things. But we had these same people who you will see. Could listen. It's finna be election next year, family. Watch all these same people finna be up in these people's faces. That's all I'm saying. They finna be up in these people's faces. And then, you know, we're going to be back at the same thing. You got anything? 'Cause I got to close it out, brother. We did our 2 hours.
Oh, great. Oh, man, it just seems it just goes so short.
Right.
Anyway, well, I'm hoping that we were able to give some real energy to our community. I'd like to thank Mick and thank the listening audience. Again, guys, someone ask for forgiveness and make sure we're doing all we can to be kind, being vigilant, but collectively, let's really, really start working together. I'm Brother Hubert Naeem Roberts. My information, 810-394-4105. MentorRoberts@gmail.com. Close out community conversation this Saturday, 1-3 p.m. at our office, 2712 North Saginaw Street. Please come out, bring a friend. This is for the community. How, like just Mickey and I engaging in our conversation, we want to have a conversation with a purpose where we can start healing and building resources in our community. Wakanda out.
Peace, family.